to deal with, man.
That is a great point, Arashi. Let's see if that comes to fruition here. But we're jumping into the draft for this game. It's going to be Echo on the blue side, Occupy Thrones on the red. Some of the bands already coming out here. That's the Kai, the Faramis is taken out by Echo. Occupy Thrones so far with a 1-1. Next band going to come out, it's the Carry. So they're focusing on that gold lane option here for Benny Cutie specifically.
They just hate Benny. They don't want Benny to play these marksmen, but hey, you're seeing Echo right now. Their bands are like, hey, Maro, we saw what you did up against Araki Hoshi. It was pretty impressive. So we'll respect it now with the Franco band. The Akai and the Faramis is also respect, right? Especially the Akai, because we've seen that Leo really likes to play the Akai. He's played it 2 times, I believe, in 2 of their games, so 100%.
And he's been playing very well, especially in that Retribution department, particularly against Araki Hoshi. He was able to win the vast majority, if not all, of the Retribution battles, because even when the Lord or neutral objective was secured by Araki Hoshi, it wasn't on Albert. So it's a very interesting situation, but of course, if they want to go for something more aggressive, having a tank in the jungle can work. A more aggressive tank, though, will be preferable.
I feel like this could be an Eve first pick if they want to go that route. We've seen, you know, the performance so far, and pretty much everybody playing Eve, how well it's been. There it is, right? We've seen the Sanji,
very good.
The outplay potential, and look at that win rate. That was 70% win rate so far for this Eve.
Sanji's probably feeling confident, man. I mean, do you remember the last time he played Eve?
Yeah.
Solo killed Lemon in the mid lane. Why not? Just pick it up again. But from Occupy Thrones, they pick up the Kaja and the Fredrin. Very fast draft, however. Echo instantly respond to the draft with the Yuzong pick, which is going to be really good because it basically says, hey, Occupy Thrones. Now, you can pick whatever you want in the back line. We'll have 2 members that can constantly dive towards that back line, and one can even kick you back to the team.
And keep in mind the wave clear available right here. Yves, Cho, and Yuzong. That's a lot of dominant laning, and that's a lot of lane pressure that Occupy Thrones need to deal with before they can even attempt to go for a pickoff. The final pick will be a Valentina, but given the circumstances here, I'm not sure how well this will do.
This is reminiscent of Echo's draft when they played RQ, right? I mean, I know you're nodding over here too. You saw it happening, so I'm wondering if those last 2 picks are something similar here. It would be great if Occupy Thrones can maybe focus on those bands and not let that happen to be the same draft. But already looking at this matchup here as well, between the 2 gold laners, we've got Carry for Benny Cutie, and we've got the Leslie pick here. Now, I feel like, you know, this is, the stats are there, but still, Leslie is a force to be reckoned with if she is allowed to get to the point where she is popping off of that true damage, able to get to the late game here. But one crucial thing is Occupy Thrones need to be able to get there, right? If they can get to the late game, and they're rolling, I don't know if they're going to pick the Leslie here, right? But if they want to roll with that, then that is a great option. But like you said, Arashi, Valentina still a highly picked hero, but still, we saw the same thing, right? The struggle of Lemon when he was playing against Sanji, trying to get the right ultimates, and then even when he couldn't, Echo did such a good job at holding those ultimates off, right? Staying so far away that it was so difficult to utilize the IMU ultimate for Valentina. And I feel like that is going to be a similar case here for this matchup.
On top of that, right, Sanji's also just a very oppressive mid laner. On this Eve, constantly just poking, clearing, and rotating. Super fast rotations coming in. And sometimes he even splits with JP. JP goes to one lane, and Sanji rotates to the other. There's no weak side of the map in a lot of Echo games because of that dynamic. And now, we're seeing the last bans come through from both Occupy and Echo. It's the Hayabusa and the Joy. Still respecting towards Carl TZ, but you're already seeing right now a Lapu pick, which basically means that the Fredrin will go to the jungle for Occupy Thrones and for Echo. Now, what do they want to go for? It's still an assassin that they want to go for Carl TZ, or now that you mentioned he's a veteran, he's been playing a lot more utility junglers.
If he goes for utility, it has benefit here, considering that they have a very significant backline. But exactly, if they want to be a threat for the backline of Occupy Thrones in those later stages of the game as well, they need something that can dive in. Because for now, it does look very solid. So many melee or short-range heroes on the side of Occupy Thrones, and they have to walk through all the crowd control on the side of Echo. It's not looking very promising.
Lancelot, oh man, yeah. Naisu was just was just saying to me.
Yeah, I was wondering what's going on there.
He said Lancelot, but he did not. Yeah, you just.
I meant Ling.
Yeah.
You,
oh yeah,
you
my
misread.
bad. My bad.
Links a lot.
Links a lot.
Links a lot. That
Links
works
a lot
too.
and Herod. Man, all right. So looking at it, honestly, in terms of damage, they've gone it down, right? It's a multi-dimensional draft in that department. They are going to be dealing physical and magical damage. And there's a lot of that. So it's going to be hard for Occupy Thrones to really, build defensively, respecting that kind of damage coming in. Final pick, Beatrix.
This
Win rate.
This is the thing, though. We've seen this before, right? If they give up that real-world manipulation to the Valentina here from Occupy Thrones, hey, we've got the Herod. We'll Zaman Force in and fight in the box of death. I think that's pretty much what they're going for here. So it also kind of counterplays around having that ultimate available to you.
And on a Beatrix, it's a tough situation when you're dealing with a Yu Zhong, man. You need some protection, but as it stands, there's only 1 or 2 members that can use their crowd control to try and save Gado, but that's going to be a costly expenditure, especially because with a Yve, right, and with a Harith available, you need to lock them down to ensure that your team does not get decimated.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great points here. We've seen the lineups for both of these teams. We've got the crowd being hyped up as well. We can hear them behind us, and that is from Occupy Thrones corner, and they're getting ready to go in this second match of the day. Again, crucial match here for Occupy Thrones and Echo ahead of them, but we're going to be jumping into the land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to match number 2, Echo Philippines and Occupy Thrones.
Ooh. Again, I don't know, man. Now that you mentioned it, Arashi, the caster curse, right? The talent prediction curse. Right now, yeah, there's been a lot of jinxing the last 2 days, man. So we'll see if Echo can break that curse or if Occupy Thrones just gets that momentum, that buff from the curse.
Right, to be fair, on a Ling right here, there's still a lot of crowd control available to just shut him down completely. Divine Judgment, the taunts coming in from Leo, the Terrify coming in from Fury as well. There are options to play around with, but I really feel that there is no, it's a certain case that Gado will have a very difficult time.
Maro, though, already forced to flicker early on here. Fury 77 rotates, again, helping his roamer out, but without that flicker early on, there's not much that he loses. Maro's looking for a cheeky steal. He doesn't get it, but he does get level 2.
Playing with danger there, but Maro, he's going to stick around. He doesn't have the flicker, but early enough that it shouldn't really be too bad of a situation. Now that first turtle that does come up, you'll probably see Echo make a beeline for it and then force probably Occupy Thrones to try to contest that, or they just give it away and stay a little bit safer, right? Early game, try not to let that snowball get out of hand here from Echo, which we've seen them do before, and just allow yourself to build up here for Occupy Thrones. Look at the focus on the bottom side, though. They're going to be looking here for Benny Cutie, looking for a moment. Leo's going to go down.
Yeah, tries his best to just look for just a CC there, but again, it's not really going to hit for now. Benny's actually going to be able to win out in that trade against Gado, too. So that rotation towards the bottom lane, not really achieving anything at all. It's actually going to be Echo who utilizes that and punishes Occupy Thrones for revealing themselves in the bottom lane without getting anything. And Echo are controlling the turtle side now with the turtle spawning.
Occupy Thrones, and I mean, it's not a bad move to try and go for the other side of the map, because let's be real, in the early game, trying to contest Echo with all this crowd control, all these AoE abilities, it's gonna be a bit foolish of an attempt unless they can get some crazy pick-off. So they go for the play on the gold lane. As you said, Mirko, it's unfortunate they were unable to get anything, not even the turret gold. So for Echo, that's a small victory, one of many, most likely for this game. And I think on its level 4, ultimately will be used to actually engage fights.
Maro's going to be caught, has the flicker, gets out again, and someone else used the flicker here. It's Gado in the gold lane.
Yeah, I was just wondering, about this matchup here in the gold lane specifically. Gado, they have the news, right? There's no flicker available here. Gado's got to be careful. That's why we see Maro making his way too. But he should be careful.
Walks up, gets knocked up, and that's first blood over to Benny QT.
He had the information, right? You called it as well, Mirko. Flicker was down. They played around that, and now they also gave that kill to Benny Cutie, right? He's running that Hereth in the gold lane, has the mystery shop here. So the scaling there is going to be in his favor. It's going to make it really hard for Gato.
Way the Dragon and Divine Judgment locking Carl TZ down, and it's Maru who picks up a kill. But look who's here, all the way from the XP lane. Sanford with the Petrify, getting Leo petrified as well to pick up a double kill as Hulk rotates over to the mid lane with a Ring of Fire. He's angry. Sanji's gonna be caught. Stunned up. Hulk picks up a kill and trades it back. But somewhere, it's still Echo who has the better trade.
Hulk Smash.
Hulk Smash coming in. That's a lot of damage that they can't ignore. And at least until later on, when they have some more items to deal with, this is what that Lapu Lapu can do. The Yuzong is a dangerous threat to the backline, but so is the Lapu Lapu. And in a way, a lot more dynamic as well.
Way the Dragon by Fury77, stealing it away. Just canceling out the engage or the pick potential that JP was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you have to constantly be worried if you are Echo about the Divine Judgment pickoffs, which we've seen Maro do, right? He's going to constantly press that situation in favor for Occupied Thrones. That's the tool they have, and they're doing it here.
Maro with Divine Judgment, the Flicker. JP does the same, and he brings Gato back. The Spawn Force was popped in, and the Mute's Passion is not enough to take Benny down. It wasn't even enough to take him low. Echo get the turtle too, and it is a disaster for Occupied Thrones. Echo right now controlling the game, 2.3k gold lead.
It's a 2v3 outplay on the back of JP, just really identifying who he needs to kick under the turret, and I think that would just benefit them so much. Benny Cutie now 2-0. He has the mystery shop as well, so he'll be scaling a lot quicker than I think Occupied Thrones might expect. And on Hereth, that's going to be very difficult because, again, we've mentioned it already, the lack of crowd control from the side of Occupied Thrones will be an issue in that mid game.
JP, again, just so lethal on this Cho. Gets the Way the Dragon down onto Leo. JP's going to be caught low, but that's going to be called TZ, who jumps in with the time of the blades. Also has the follow-up from the Spawn Force from Benny. Fury77 forced to flicker out, and Echo, it's just Echo everywhere.
Maro, though, he's still holding on to the Divine Judgment, but they give it the recall here. That's the thing, right? I mean, I feel like if you're Occupied Thrones, you've already tried a lot here in the bottom side. Gato, unfortunately, is 0-3. He is falling behind in terms of farm and everything else and itemization, so it makes it even harder for him. And that's why you see Echo, right? They know this weak point here, and they're going to keep pressing it until at least they get that tier 1. And that's what we see even JP doing here. But let's take a look at the items on how this is all resulted out. Rashi.
Right, I mean, it's such a high-paced game. Benny Cutie at this point has a Feather Heaven and the Divine Glaive, so a lot of damage and a lot of DPS, not just burst damage, but actually he's going to be walking into a bit of a trap, but JP turns it around yet again.
With the Way the Dragon, but it's going to be Maru who finds the Divine Judgment onto Benny, who's able to actually pop their Spawn Force, looking for a trade. It's just JP who gets taken down in the mid lane. Sanji flickers forward. Hulk's going to be taken down with a basic attack. The fade away from Sanji.
I like to call that the athletic flicker, right? Because so we've seen Sanji do that how many times now? He flickers in, gets someone really low, and then it's literally one auto attack for the kill.
It's down to the wire with these players, man. It's unfortunate for Occupied Thrones. They get a small victory, but now, without the mid lane turret, Echo can extend their pressure into the jungle. And now it thought that Gato was having a difficult time. Leo will start feeling that pressure as well, but look at the play.
JP, again, finding Maro. That's going to be the real world inflation popped in. JP going to be chunked there as Leo jumps in, looking for that red tree. Does not get it. It's still JP. Wow!
JP doing everything here, and that is the zoning potential that Echo has. We talk a lot about the range differential. Having a real-world manipulation means that they can do things like this.
That's the Tempest of Blades, knocking Maro up. Carl TZ styling here in the game. 9-3 for Echo as Benny actually moves forward. Fury's gonna be taken low, taken down to the mega kill. Sanford jumps in, the Way the Dragon is there too, and that's the passive. It's all just fadeaways and pure style from Echo.
On the shoulders of Daddy JP,
Daddy
we're
JP.
seeing Echo just make play after play here. It's 6.5k now, almost 8 minutes into the game. And this is tough, right? If you're Occupied Thrones, like I was saying, Gato, that gold lane, who you hope that you have available to come online for the late game, is not going to be there anytime soon. BOD just being picked up here 8 minutes in.
And keep in mind, Carl TZ He is doing something we've seen before, the killing spree on that Ling, so he is out for blood. And Benny Cutie, already a Holy Crystal at 8 minutes? What? That is a lot of damage. And as we mentioned already, Gado will not be having a good time at all. So much damage, so much range from Sanji, but also all the dive coming in from the rest of the 4 players from Echo Philippines.
Right now, focus on the top side. They're going to get that tier 2. All in the meantime, waiting 30 seconds for that next Lord to come up here. Again, at this point, this is a massive lead for Echo Philippines. Occupy Throne's going to be forced to find any pick they could potentially get here. But now you're going to see even the pressure for that purple buff. If it comes up, Conceal Play going to come out. Nothing committed just yet. But Occupy Throne's trying to turtle up here on the tier 2. Meanwhile, Echo just trying to buy time for that next Lord, for the first Lord of the game to come up.
Again, right? Echo, they got the lead. They're not really going to go for these crazy engages because they don't need to. It's unnecessary, right? They already have control over most of the map right now. They can just constantly be playing around with the Lord, forcing Occupy Thrones to walk out of the base. And when they do so, that 7.4k gold lead speaks for itself.
And you can still abuse the fact that Carl Tizzy is just so mobile. He is still getting resources right now, but JP turns it around.
Wait, the Dragon, but Divine Judgment comes in. That's going to be JP taken down, but the backline's going to be targeted down by Sanford and Benny QT with his Mon Force. 1-for-1, Roamer for gold. It's Echo who takes the better trade once again. Leo going to be able to taunt Sanji up. Maro's going to be taken low. Carl TZ jumping in. Ooh. Maro flickering out of the real world equation. The Appraiser's Wrath was so close to getting Sanji, but he's still here. He calculated that one. Flickers out to safety. Occupy Thrones have lost their jungler.
Echo is on a mission right now, and they understand that Gado is part of their win condition. We saw that Sanford was able to actually get on top of multiple members earlier in that fight, but he ignores everyone and heads straight for Gado. That is dedication. That is a man of focus, determination, and sheer will.
JP is a man of violence. Oh, but there's another kick. Sanford, they're going to be targeted by Hawk as he smashes towards the back line, but Gado just gets melted down by Carl TZ. What is he supposed to do? He just can't, withstand that damage anymore, man.
I mean, 10,000k at this point, right? 10 minutes in.
10,000k, that's a lot of gold.
10,000k, that is a lot of gold. And they're marching, right? I mean, you got to handle this Lord, Occupy Thrones. That's the question. Can they even hold on this long enough?
They have so much high ground damage as well coming in from Echo Philippines, and I can't help but feel like Occupy need to play a bit more defensively, but Echo won't let it happen.
JP again with an engage, but will be caught, but Sanford finds the Petrify onto 3, the Furious Dive onto 2, and a kill on Gado. Mid lane base are going to be taken down now by Echo as they're looking to end the game. Benny just styling with his Mon Force under the base, under everything. Leo is still not able to find a kill. It's a legendary by Benny, and it's Echo who are still undefeated in groups.
They just stomp down, march through the base, understanding that they have all the tools available, and they are rationing their utility so well. They don't waste any spells. There's not a single moment in this high-action, high-paced game where we thought, wow, that was a bit overkill. Everything is rationed to perfection, and Occupy Thrones, man, they just got outclassed.
It was 12,000k.
12,000.
But jokes aside, Echo disappointed.